Welcome back to Ephemera. Hello and welcome to the Treasured page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Settle in, snuggle in. Today it is very crisp and cold in England. It is -2 out there and I'm sitting in my craft room with a hot water bottle and a scarf. So today's animal was the bear. I have already cut him out as best I can. I've opened the journal and it's fallen onto the central page, and I thought actually that's quite a good place for a bear, is in the woods, isn't it? So I think I'm going to have my bear in the woods, and what I thought would be quite nice is to have a tag attached here, and so we can put ephemera pieces in here and this be quite a functional use of the central page. I've left these long. I didn't tie them in a bow because I thought it would be quite nice to dangle off some beads, so I might do that for the next prompt. But for now we need to give the bear a home. So I'm just going to put this aside, but I'm going to take this idea, the wintry scene of the trees in the forest, and looking at this journal with the thought of Marion North. She travelled to many different jungle locations, woods and things like that. And one of the places that she travelled to, one of her first voyages, was to go to America. And her first place of where she went to was California. And she has remarked on the beautiful and very tall cedar trees that she painted when she arrived. So I think that this is a nice little page to begin with for my bear in the woods. And this is a digital kit from Brigitte from Clee Black Creations. I'll leave the link below. This is from the Collagraph, the pages that you can buy for the Collagraph kit, which we have seen before. So what I've done is I've printed out another copy of this sheet, and I've printed it out onto a sturdier paperweight, a cardstock, 120 paperweight, and what I'm going to do is use that as my tag so it matches in and blends in. Okay, so here I've got the trees that have been cut out of that image. So if you have another look, you can see here this central tree is here. It has now been cut out, and this one over here, I've also taken that off. And I think it's actually quite nice to off-center them and make them a little bit more three-dimensional, so they do look quite good. So I'm thinking that I could bring them over here on the page in some sort of tag arrangement. So that's what's going on. And this part is just this part again, so you can see there. So just going to cut out using the knife on some of this. I have managed to get round with the scissors most of it, but this central bit here, I'm just using the knife to get round there, just for the trickier bits. Like that. That will come out. There we go. And then this side over here. So I'll leave the link for this kit. There's some lovely images there that work for all times of the year, not just winter but summer as well, just for some interesting colours if you liked this style. Bit interesting, little bit different. Okay, so that's that, and this is the start of the tag. What I think I'd like is that the tag has a pocket so that we can load it up with things, and then I'm going to decorate the tag with the trees on the top. Tear that bit away, and then that's really what I want to have poking out. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down on 3 sides, leaving one side open so that it can become a pocket. And I'm sticking it down to this packaging paper
And it doesn't matter that it's more of a fragile piece. It's just paper, it's very flimsy. It doesn't matter that there's anything on it unless I want to see a few paint splatters, but I don't particularly want to see that bit, so we'll go back to the original side. Just sticking that bit down there. So that's the pocket bit there, but this is going to be stuck down onto the page, which will strengthen this, so it's really just a dividing piece. And from here I can just build up my scene, my winter scene. And what I think I've got this strip, which came off of the other project, I'm going to bring that musical, I think I prefer that with the lines, I'm going to bring that in. Just the element of music and movement that was so important to Marianne North's life. And that can be in the background there. And then we'll see what the trees look like. Okay, that's quite interesting. Then maybe you want to... I think I want to come off the page as well. Right, I've done that, but I don't think they're wide enough. I think I would like to bring them down a bit. So what I'm going to just play around with until I like the angle. That's perhaps better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up this and give myself a template. So this could be any store card, you know, one of these plastic cards. When you're happy with an angle, you can then cut it off one of these cards that you know, just could be an old credit card, an old store card, and then that will be your template. So then I can turn this around, line it all up and cut the same here. I'm just lining it up with the actual, have it round there, and that may look a bit more tag-like. It's better. Okay, so now I've got a template, and then if I want to do a smaller one, then we can cut a smaller one for smaller tags. So that could be a different one, you see. And then you could do the same round here, and that becomes your tag template, and you just turn the card over rather than the piece. So sometimes the piece slips and moves, but it doesn't with the card trick. So that's a good way of making a tag template for yourself without buying anything. Right, so there we go, we've got a pocket behind there, that's looking more tag-like, and then I just want to have something on the top where I can put a little bit of ribbon or lace, something like that. I'm punching myself a little bit there. So this one's going to come here, and I really want to have a look and interlock the branches so they nestle in nicely together. I think that's quite a nice arrangement where they overhang. So I'm just going to remove the cutting mat so we can see a bit better. Let's flip it over and start putting the glue down. I just want to keep the branches where they were. Right, that's fine. And now, hopefully, I'm going to make sure this is in the foreground, this larger tree here. So this is how it's looking so far. We need to just lift up this tree, tuck him in here, because I've got the idea that he's just sort of walking through the trees there. And I'm just thinking that will be okay. Just draw a line around the area of his feet just to give it a little bit of interest along the bottom here, and lose any harsh edges so that that comes over, just looking a bit more forest floor like. as well. Just a little bit of texture. A bit of movement and bringing in another little mixed media idea here of texture being brought in so that it's not a flat piece, it's got interest. And then if we're not happy with the colour, we can always just splat some paint or whatever over it. Front and back, just to keep that, and that's just going to be something that'll poke out the top. Right, let's have a look, see how it looks in the journal. So now, when it comes here, it can be stuck down, and then that's where we put our loaded tag with the interesting pieces. And then this actually blends nicely in with the colours that you can see behind. So by bringing that brown tone, little bit of red, that just looks really nice with what's going on over here. And if I ink that white edge along there, we are starting to blend in nicely now and all work as one piece. So this just wants, again, it just wants to be stuck down. So I've got my edges and I'm going to stick the whole lot down because I just want the strength of the page underneath to give me that pocket. Just one single pocket, we don't need much more. So it's a side tuck tag more than a loaded tag. If we wanted to do, my original idea was for it to hinge out and then have pockets, which would have been probably really cool had I remembered to do it. Here, that's fine. And then what I might have along the bottom, here for some interest. And then when we, then something else, that'll give me an idea for something else. Then we've got this bit here, and that's just quite interesting. So we can scrunch that up. And in the background you can see there's handwritten element to that. That is a ledger paper. We've got music paper. We've got the bear in the woods, and we've got the ability to load the tag up. So this is going to be for writing paper. That's just how I'm going to tackle this prompt. I think we could have had another pocket here. We might still do that. What else can we have? So taking this handwritten piece here that is from the digital kit, as seen over here, I'm going to bring it in and add a little pocket. So I'm just going to take off the sides there, go in that centre bit there. Like that. In here we've got space for writing paper, for a handwritten note, and that is tucked in there as a little piece of secret journaling. I always think that's nice. And then down the side here we've got a little ticket pocket, which is fun. I've put a little tea card in there of this bird, and that is the Indian crested swift, and that comes from India, Ceylon, Burma, Thailand and parts of China. And I think that that's all great because she did actually travel to a lot of those places. And then there's another little slot there where you can add extra bits, stamps and ephemera could go in there as well. So it's a connected loaded tag of sorts. And then there was, I did think that the trees could become a belly band, but I like the way they work, and that is just really intriguing. So I'm happy with all of that. That's fine. And I could stick something on there as well if I want later on. That might become clear. So I'll just put a little bit of paint. Let's just make sure the bear doesn't get covered, and we'll just flick some splats on here just because I think that will tie it all up down the bottom there. And take my bird out. And that was just some iced spruce. Okay.
And here we have the bear in the woods for our intrepid explorer Marion North as she ventured into many woods in many continents across the world, painting her fantastic artistic pictures. And shortly I hope to receive a collection of postcards depicting some of the paintings, and I intend to be putting them in the journal as well, so you will be able to have a look at some of the imagery and things that she has painted. But I will just show you this one. So here is just some of the trees that she painted. This is the baobab with the upside down tree, and that is in South India. Absolutely stunning. And this is a picture of Marion North when she went to India and they dressed her up in local traditional cloth and clothing, something that she disliked posing for, but she played along with it, and I think that they have captured the most amazing image of her, a very wonderful picture of this incredible woman. And just so that you can see some of these paintings and things, fruit, and you know, the way she paints the trees, it's just stunning. And that was Sri Lanka. But as I said, one of the start of the story was when she went to America. So her quest was to get from London to Japan, and she did that going via America. And you can see here that she has travelled to California, and you can see these wonderful giant redwood trees that she painted and was fascinated by. In this one she has called A Fallen Giant. And you can see that she went to San Francisco. She described it as a strange mixture of new Paris streets and Irish hovels, with its still stranger Chinese town in one corner. She spent a week in a comfortable hotel in Nevada mountains, where she was very happy painting by herself, enjoying the lovely air. And I will go into the story of this, which is quite fascinating, how she had to travel with travel companions, female travel companions as well, which sort of worked out but sort of didn't. She seemed to ditch them at the earliest opportunity so she could go and get into a quiet space, and if she could go and hire out somewhere privately just to get into her painting mode without the company or the required travelling companion, that is what she did. And there's quite some funny stories where she packs them off and sends them back home once she's got to where she wants to be. And so I can completely understand that when you want to be creative, you do need to have your own space. You do need to be quiet sometimes so that you can get your thoughts together and come up with something worthwhile, something that is you're happy with, and something that you can give out to the world. So there we are. This is my bear in the woods, and just depicting that and what I wanted to convey here. And there we go. So that is day 7 of Ephemera, and I'm now going to have a look at beads and postage stamp dangles for prompt number 8. So, and this is my lovely bee that has come to help hold the journal open, which is now seeming to lie flat a bit more by itself. So I'm incredibly excited with all of this. And there are the wonderful mushrooms that you can see, which is yet another stunning digital kit from Clee Black Creation. So do please have a look at her Etsy site, and you will see all of the fantastic winter journaling images and things, and certainly digital kits that I will be able to dip into this coming in the new year. Enjoying the time of mushrooms here at the moment with this autumn journaling. It does work well with the paint splotches and everything. So I'm going to leave it there today with that lovely prompt, and I hope that you are all well and that you're able to settle into your quiet spaces this month and give yourself a little bit of a breather and a break, a little bit of me time, and make sure that you're not putting yourself to the back of the queue for everybody else you're trying to look after and make sure is okay, friends, family, and all the rest of it. You're important too. And this can be a difficult time of year for people, so just give yourself the chance to slow down and unwind. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching, and I put out 3 videos a week and 2 podcasts. If you'd like to head over and have a listen, you can find all the links below in my link tree, which is in the description. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Above everything else guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.